Hi sweet friends, welcome back to Mary's Nest. Today I'm continuing with my Christmas cooking series and we're going to be baking Italian ricotta Christmas cookies. They're little round puffs of deliciousness. I can't describe them, wait till you see them. Well, let's quickly go over the ingredients. I'll bring you in closer so you can see everything. Well, we've got 2 cups of powdered sugar. And I think some people may know this as icing sugar. We've got 2 sticks of butter, or 1 cup of butter. We've got 2 teaspoons of lemon extract, and we've got 3 eggs, and I've got a carton here of whole milk ricotta. This is I think a 16-ounce carton. Sometimes you might see them in a 15-ounce carton. Don't worry about it. Whatever size you find in close enough to that is fine. And then we've got 4 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got half a teaspoon of salt. I've got a teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now I'm going to cream the sugar and the butter together, and don't worry if you don't have powdered sugar. You can certainly use granulated sugar. My mom always used powdered sugar because she felt that the powdered sugar made the cookies just a little bit lighter, but granulated sugar works well too, and I've done that before. And if you want, you can always take the granulated sugar and whirl it for a while if you have a food processor, and that'll basically turn it into powdered sugar. But let's go ahead and cream the butter and the sugar here for about 3 minutes. You can certainly do this by hand, but I'm going to use this on medium speed for the first 30 seconds and then put it up to high for the next 2.5 minutes and get it nice and light and fluffy. Well, I've got the sugar and the butter creamed until it's nice and light and fluffy, and now I'm going to add my eggs in one at a time. Now 2 of them broke when I was cracking them into the bowl, but I'm just going to do my best to do one at a time and then beat it for a little bit after each addition just to make sure that the egg is well blended in. Well, I've got all the eggs incorporated, and now I'm going to go ahead and add in the ricotta cheese. And this is whole milk ricotta. And then we're going to add in the flavoring. Now, what I want to mention about that is today I'm using lemon extract because that is my mom's favorite. And my mother always made these at Christmas time when I was growing up. But she also made them with anise flavoring and almond flavoring, and she would put a little different decoration on each. Like with the lemon one, she might put a little, in addition to the colored sprinkles, she'd put a little lemon peel. With the almond, she'd put a little chopped almonds, and with the anise flavored one, she'd put a little crushed anise seeds. But her favorite were lemon, and so I'm going to make these so she can enjoy them for Christmas. So I've got the ricotta cheese in there, and now I'm going to add the lemon flavoring. This is pure lemon extract. There's a little bit of powdered sugar floating around in it because when I first whipped that in the beginning, the powdered sugar flew around a bit. But I'm just going to go ahead and put that pure lemon extract in there, and I'll get ready to whip all this up now too. So this just whipped up beautifully. And now we're going to get ready to add the flour in, and I'm going to switch back to my spatula. Boy, that lemon extract smells so good. I love lemon too, just like my mom. Alrighty, so in here, I'm just going to get a little beater, whisk, to mix in the salt and the baking soda and the baking flour to make sure that's well combined. Baking flour, baking powder. into the flour, and this is just regular all-purpose flour, and then we'll get ready to add that right into the butter and ricotta mix and eggs and all the other goodies that are in there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add all of this in. You can add it in one fell swoop, it'll be just fine. There we go. And now I'm just going to start mixing all of this together, and then we'll get ready to put them on a baking sheet and pop them in the oven. And you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, the dough mixed up beautifully, and now we'll get ready to put it in little dollops onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. And as they're baking up, I'll show you how to make the icing that we're going to drizzle on top. And before the icing has a chance to harden up, we'll decorate it with pretty little Christmas sprinkles. Now I've got my baking sheet lined with parchment paper. If you don't have this, it's fine. Just butter your baking sheet and then go ahead and we're going to put the dough using rounded teaspoonfuls right onto the parchment paper, and we're going to space them about 2 inches apart. Well, I've got my first batch laid out on my baking sheet, and I just wanted to mention, if you have one of those small little ice cream scoops, you could use that too to put out your cookie dough. Well, the cookies just came out of the oven. You want to bake them between 10 to 12 minutes. And these took 12 minutes, and basically you're just going to see just the slightest bit of goldenness on top, barely anything, and just a little tiny bit of goldenness on the bottom. I'll bring you in closer so you can see exactly. You're just looking for the tiniest bit of goldenness on the top, and then just a little bit of goldenness on the bottom. And that's perfect. 10 to 12 minutes, and now we're going to transfer them to a cooling rack, let them cool. I'll continue to bake the rest of these, and I'll show you how to make the icing. Well, I've got some of the cooled cookies here, and I've still got some more back here, and I've got some baking in the oven, and I still have more batter. And I just wanted to let you know that this is probably going to make around maybe 5 dozen cookies or so. It really depends how large your teaspoonfuls are, but it's somewhere in there, just so that you know. And now we're going to make the icing. Now to make the icing, it's very simple. All we're going to need is the zest of a lemon, the juice of that lemon, and I like to add, you can't see it maybe, but this is a half a teaspoon of lemon extract, just to give it a little extra zing. And then here I've got 4 cups of powdered sugar. Now, if for any reason these 2 liquids aren't enough to make it to the watery consistency, sort of that you need to drizzle it on top, we can just add a little water. And since these are Italian ricotta Christmas cookies, we need some sprinkles. And I've got green and red jimmies that I'm going to sprinkle on top. But you can use anything you want. My mother would use these, and she'd also use those tiny little balls. I forget exactly what they're called, just sprinkles today, but she had a name for them, I can't remember. But she would also sprinkle those on. They're multicolored. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and put in this zest, get that all out of there, and then we're going to put in the lemon juice, and we're going to put in the lemon extract, and then we're just going to mix this up. And it takes just a minute or two. You'll see if it's going to come together, and then we can decide whether we need to add more liquid or not. Well, this is definitely going to need a little more liquid. So what I like to do is work with a tablespoon and just put in a tablespoon of water at a time. And then we'll see how that thins it out. And we'll just do that until we get to the consistency we want. And you really need to work it a little, because if you've ever worked with powdered sugar before, you might be saying, oh my gosh, it seems so thick. And then you add a tablespoon of water, and then it's more runny than you need. So just work it in and take your time, and we'll get to the consistency that we want. Well, this is becoming a very nice consistency. I'm just going to add 1 more tablespoon of water, and then it's going to be perfect. Well, this is the perfect consistency that I want for drizzling on top of the cookies. And it's got the nice lemon zest in it. And you just need, really just kind of play it by ear, maybe a half a teaspoon. And you just want to drizzle it on top. Maybe a teaspoonful. I like to cover the top. I think that'll be good. Let me just get a little more. Put that right, nice plop right down the middle. Perfect. Keep that from falling there. And then while it's still wet, we'll sprinkle a few of these cute little jimmies on it. And we're all set. Now we'll just keep going. I'll bring you in closer so you can see exactly. We'll just put that right in the middle. It's about a half a teaspoon, maybe add a little more. And that's it. It'll just drizzle down on the sides. I just give it a second or two to drizzle and then firm up just a second. And then I'll go ahead and just put the little jimmies on. Well, I just took a bite. These are so delicious, light and fluffy. You're going to love them. And for another sweet treat, be sure to check out my skillet apple pie with a foolproof crust. So click on the link below to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you over there in my Texas Hill Country Kitchen. Love and God bless.